All righty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, we did see Black Monday come for the second time in a row. We had Black Monday last Monday. We had Black Monday this Monday. And as we could see, we got bought up just like last Monday. We are now underneath the short-term moving averages over here on the daily time frame, and the next important step here is to reclaim those. So I'm going to say on SPY, guys, if you could reclaim 602.13, you're in the clear, and you're probably going to start heading up to new all-time highs above 610.78. All right, support over here on SPY is going to be tomorrow. We're at 599.70, 597.75, 594.64. 590.49, and then we're watching 588.75. On the upside is resistance. You have 602.13. Big level right there. Those are big flip level. Okay, reaction, 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 reaction. A whole bunch of crap going on here. Okay, get above 602.13. We're talking 605.36, and then you're probably going to be heading up to 610.78. On the upside over here for QQQ, we do have 523, 525.97, 520.28.15, 531.24, 533.82, and 539.15. I do not think we're getting all the way up here in one day. All right, the important level over here on QQ is going to be 523. Get above 523. You're above the short-term moving averages again. From that point, we probably start trekking on up. Downside support 520.85, 518.21, 515.58. And then we have 512.75, which is this 0.618 fib from the golden pocket here from this whole most recent move up. All right, and that's where we bounced this morning. Now, we're going to come over here to IWM, and I am going to point out you did lose your 224.66 to 226.64 demand zone. It's now been flipped into supply. You rejected that today. We are underneath the short-term moving averages. You need to reclaim 226.64 to get bullish over here on IWM. From there, we are watching 228.04, 230.55, and then 233.40. On the downside of support, 222.71. You have 220.23. This gap filled down there. It's not filled. This gap's in there open, and then we have 217.50, and you do not want to lose 217.50 because then you risk coming down to 214.60. Now I am going to point out throughout this video here how big tech looks like. We probably maybe we haven't seen the bottom over here for the indices, but it looks like we probably have seen the bottom this morning off of our Black Monday. It definitely looks like we did. We have that. I'm going to point out my reasoning why. But I'll just say ahead of time, yeah, it looks like we probably saw a bottom get put in today. We're probably going to be moving back up. DIA over here, we had two pats we put on your radar in the weekly update, guys. If you're new to the channel, we do have a weekly update that comes out every weekend, and that covers what we're looking for going into the following week, as well as usually over 10 trade ideas at the end of the video for you. All right, DIA, you had two pats, either going to come down and bounce off of 438.04, or you're going to come down and bounce off of 433.20. You decided to come down to 438.04, and then you started bouncing back from around there. From here, guys, above 444.87, 444.87, get above there. You'll be above the daily 9 over here. You're probably going to start moving back up to 451.55, and then you have a new all-time high in your hand. VIX, guys, you had the 20% gap up over here today, and as you can see, we only closed up 13%. You did fade a lot of the move today. I will point out you had this breakout from the bull pennant. I can see this thing pulling back here, maybe coming back down the short-term moving average, maybe around 17 bucks, and then maybe consolidates for a few days and then starts to spike back up. I can see that happening, but as of right now, I do think VIX is going to continue selling now that we yes, we held the gap, but you did fade a lot of the move here today, and you closed out the day with a nice red bar. Typically, when we see these red bars here, VIX is either going to go sideways for a little bit, or you have, seen the top for VIX for that little spike there, and then it's going to start crushing. So, I think we're going to start crushing back down towards 17 here, and the market's going to go for a little bit more of a ride. Come on over here to Goog, guys. We do have earnings tomorrow after the close, after the bell. All right, so just know that this is probably going to be moving the market. You know, I'm not really sure how these are going to come out, but I will say that the chart does look impeccable over here. You have this nice bullshit Gulfy candlestick with heavy volume over here on the weekly time frame for last week. Break and retest candle stemming from the weekly 9 EMA over there. You also do have this bull pennant, bull flag breakout, whatever you want to call this, ascending triangle. You broke out of it the other day and you retested it today. And now, you know, it looks like you're gapping up to today's high. All right. If you get above today's high at 205.22 tomorrow, you're probably going to head up to 207.08, and then we're watching 210. That could happen before earnings, before that bell. All right. Come over here to Amazon. Amazon continues to show the strength on these pullbacks. Relative strength is, you know, it's definitely there over here on Amazon. It's consistently been bought up over here on each pullback. You are looking like you are getting ready for that next impulsive move, that next leg up. Now we have Google earnings Tuesday, tomorrow after the close. We have Amazon earnings here after Thursday's close. So, you know, big move coming over here. I do have to, you know, just remind everyone, definitely in the weekly uptrend, definitely just consolidated here, pulled back for, you know, 2 months here. 45 days to 60 days there, 1.5 to 2 months. You pulled back, consolidated around this week of 9, previous breakout level, consolidated in that bull flag, and you just broke out from that. So I do have to assume this move has more room to the upside. Okay. Apple, this thing's being a piece of poop. I wouldn't be trading it. It, you know, is showing risk here that you could be coming down to here. If you lose 225.40, you're probably going to be coming back down to the low. Just put an alert right there at 225. You're probably going to revisit this 219.71 support. And at that point, guys, you do have a left shoulder here. You have a head, and you do have a right shoulder right here. All right. So definitely something to keep note of. I personally wouldn't be trading this. I pointed out, you know, an opportunity over here that I think everyone should, you know, be aware of, because it's probably going to be moving the market. But, you know, I've been kind of slamming the table on this. In the weekly update, I pointed out how this was going to be my trade of the week. You know, really this was, you know, this NVIDIA trade right here stemming down from over here. All right. I started buying in somewhere over here. Okay. Around, you know, 120, 118, 120. And then I did end up just about doubling that position here this morning on this gap down. All right. So I added a crap ton of March calls this morning, and I am planning on riding this back up to 127.67. As you can see, the daily RSI, we did close at 36.81, guys. We did close underneath our red line over here. Every time we tap that red line, that 36.85 mark right there, 11 times over the last 2 years, you have seen a 10% plus bounce come over the following weeks. And I do think that is probably about to happen over here on NVIDIA. You're at the perfect, picture perfect spot. Break and retest right there, trend line. You're, you know, right above it. You're also at your demand zone sitting over there, 113.22 to 115.14. All right. You have the daily RSI sitting down there at a red line. You have the golden pocket test right here from the whole move up. Okay. This, you know, move from 90.69 all the way up here to the highs of 153.13. All right. So, you know, really, guys, we're in the picture perfect spot here for NVIDIA to start bouncing back. I think it's extremely likely that this starts bouncing back and we see prices back at 127.67, 130, 126 supply zone up here over the coming few trading sessions. If King NVIDIA starts to move up, that is when the whole market is probably going to start moving up. You just need King NVIDIA to move. I think it is probably going to start moving. Today was the day we were really looking for. Okay. You know, low was over here. The following day from that close, you did have a 9% move. From the bottom, that next day, you did have an 11% move. So technically, this was fulfilled over here. We just got the same exact signal right here. And if we're about to get another 10% move, holy cow. All right. You hit it twice within the same 2-week period. Okay. But, you know, this is honestly one of the main reasons I think the market is probably about to be bouncing back here, you know, from this morning's gap down. I think we're probably going to continue on SPY over that 602.13 level. You know, King NVIDIA ain't looking bad over here, in my personal opinion. Come over here, Tesla, guys. You did break down for the pennant. We'll see if this is a, you know, a false breakdown here. You want to get back inside this pennant. You didn't want to close underneath it today, but you did close underneath it today. We'll see what happens. You're already gapping up to today's high right here at 389.17. So you're up in the after hours. And I'll just come back over here in the video too. You're also, sitting nice and pretty up there near 119. Guys, if you can accept over 120 and then really get over, we'll call it like 122. If you get over 122, it's probably going to start testing the top of this little range it was just in over here, which is 127.67. I do think that's possible for, the short term here. Next, 1 to 2 weeks, probably going to happen this week. All right. Or the other scenario is you base out here and then you move up off of that. But, you kind of already did here, swept the low of that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's now going to squeeze some late shorts and you're about to actually see the move that I've been talking about play out. All right. But come back over here, Tesla, guys. You got to get over tomorrow. You got to, you want to open above 389.17. You want to stay above 389.17. There's going to be a gap on the upside here, 401.34. If you fill that, you want to close above it. Okay, you have the daily moving averages sitting right here as well. You want to close above 401.34. If you can do so, all right, at that point, I think you're probably going to start pushing back up here. And like I said in the weekly update, you really got to get above 419.99. And then this thing breaks out of this downtrend / pennant here. Okay, you can really take that. Maybe maybe we've shifted things there. But real talk, you need to break above 419.99 for this to really get going. At that point, you're probably going to start pushing up here, 439.74, and then 465.33. If you test there, you're probably just going to new highs, 488.54. Microsoft came down, literally gapped down to our demand zone over here, 405.57 to 410.29. We were talking about this in the weekly update. All right, this is why, we weren't looking for much. We're downside over here. We're really not. We're thinking the market's about to bounce back. Okay, downside was going to be limited. We were looking for this market to pull back because of how VIX was set up. Okay, VIX was set up in this pennant. We were looking for the volatility spike this week. We were saying to buy that volatility spike if it comes. And so far, you've been rewarded if you bought the dip. So, there you go. Okay. Coming over here to Meta, the final Mag 7 stock over here, guys. You pulled back. You ate that pullback. The low of day was 675.25. The high of day was all the way up there at 704. Craziness, guys. It does look like it's probably going to break above 710.79 tomorrow. From there, you're watching the 720 and 730 psychological levels. Okay. It's going to move in $10 increments here at this point. It's in that impulsive stage. You had the consolidation period right here. You had this consolidation period followed by another consolidation period, and now you're finally actually seeing an impulsive move that just goes straight up. All right, so I do think 750 could be hit. We already did hit that $700 psychological targets in there. We already hit that. I was thinking 680 to 700 could realistically come last week. All right, we got a little above there, and you actually went a little higher in the after hours over there. But yeah, I do think this thing is going to continue getting bought up. Any consolidation is just going to be a buying opportunity. Any pullback, just a buying opportunity. It is what it is. SMH, guys, you're at the bottom of the range. You don't want to sell into the bottom of the range. That's how you short a hole. Okay. Until the range stops working, then just keep playing the range. So, this is the chip, the semiconductor ETF. This is, the little index of semiconductors over here. This thing is, going to be moving all the other things. And that thing is at the bottom of the range, which tells you don't really want to be short in semiconductors right now, okay? MU, it's also in this ugly range, guys. You're towards the lower end of it, 84.91. You probably continue to find buyers down here, okay? You found buyers over here. After you established it right here, you found buyers of support. Buyers, probably going to find buyers, okay? Avco over here, guys, you are underneath the daily moving averages still. You have to break above 226.80, and that is when this is going to look a whole lot better. We could see on the weekly time frame, we printed that hammer candlestick last week. We are expecting to get that fall through either this week or the next week to the upside. ARM. All right, ARM actually does have the earnings coming up on Wednesday after the close. You are currently gapping up above today's high, above, 159.36 right there. And I do have to assume you're going to push up to the next resistance up at 164.16. Above there, you have 173.23. I think this has the setup for a move to all-time highs off of earnings. Okay, very clean break and retest setup over here on the weekly time frame. Daily chart also looks clean there. TSM. All right, buyers bought the dip last week. Not the prettiest close you got going on here today. I really would say let's just stay away from TSM for the time being. I just don't There's no setup to play right here. The setup to play was when this was all loading over here. You could have started loading up. This is what we were playing over here before, you know, it really bounced back and we got to sell on these moves. Okay. Um, I'm not really sure what's going to happen over here in the short term. It's a relatively sloppy chart, and I would not be focusing on it. I pointed out, you know, the king of semiconductors and the king of the stock market is NVIDIA over here, and this is the picture perfect long setup. This is my ideal long setup right here. If you want, you know, my exact setup that I look for over and over and over again, all right, you want all the A plus components, it's right here. You got the golden pocket test. Like, you know, this is a long-term golden pocket test right there. This took months to develop from last August all the way up until now. That's the 8th month, all up until the 2nd month. Okay, guys, that is 6 months it is taken to develop, you know, what we have sitting here, what we have cooking. Okay, so you're testing the golden pocket from there. You're testing a demand zone. You are testing the breakout, you know, the breakout trend line over here. You have the daily RSI, you know, at an oversold condition that brings us our bounces every time. We are far away from, you know, from the mean. Okay, we're now in it for the reversion to the mean trade, which is going to be up to the supply zone at 127.67 to 131.26. If you want to trade a chip stock right now, trade the king, trade NVIDIA. Probably going to be squeezing over the coming few trading sessions. All right, AMD, you have earnings tomorrow after the bell. I really don't know how this thing's going to be moving, guys. This thing could get a pop off earnings. It could not. Your support is going to be 114.45 and then 111.31. Resistance 117.90 and 121.83. I don't think you get higher than that tomorrow. Okay, I don't really care how much you run tomorrow. You're probably not going to have a 6-7% move over here on AMD. Just doesn't usually happen, but we will see if you know, we have an outsized day tomorrow. And we'll see if earnings brings any crazy, you know, moves over there. We will see. Bitcoin, guys, absolutely insane day. And this is another thing that, you know, suggests to me that, yeah, the market bottom is probably in today. You know, Bitcoin moves with the market. You have this massive wick over here. What happens with these massive wicks? You mark lows. All right. You mark out clearly support. And I'm just going to point out, you know, let's just take away this level right here. All right. And we're just going to bring it over here. You notice how, you know what? Screw the level. Give me a zone. Give me a zone right there. Okay. Screw the support there. We'll get that out of there. We'll get that out of there. This is your demand zone. You are confirming that demand zone right over here. You're confirming all of this area as demand. This area is support. Okay. This, with how this just happened and how it closed out today, this thing probably takes it up to the highs. We're probably going to see 110K on this next push here, 110 to 115K coming probably in the short term. MSTR closed out with a big fat bullish engulfing candlestick down at, you know, 300 in the overnight session. I saw it, you know, 300, I think it was last night. But, you know, you got as low as 310 today and you closed the day out near 345. That is a pretty big move over here. And I do think this thing has been waiting to have an actual move. It has not came. And I do think you've been consolidating here after breaking out of this fallen wedge. And this could be a coming. All right. You just take it like that. This is a break and retest. This is also, you held the 0.786 fib right there. It's right there from this whole move up here. All right. Picture perfect. Your resistance 345.80. You're above that right now. Okay. Next stop 368.42 and then 390.20, 404.42 up there, and that is it. Okay, coming over here to coin. What do we got cooking on coin, guys? You also have, you know, not as big as a you know, wide body cream bar there. You're also red on the day over here. But again, bulls are being relentless on these dips over here, and it's going to be moving with Bitcoin. Bitcoin just, you know, almost definitely just bottomed here for the short term at least. Probably about to push highs. Coin is probably going to be at least coming back up here to these most recent highs, if not breaking 310.61 and heading to 326.23. All right. Riot, TSLA, Mara. They're also getting buyers, so these are probably going to move higher with Bitcoin. But again, the setup is on MSTR and coin. I want to stress that. All right, now here are the trade ideas I want to put on your radar here. We talked about this here in the weekly update, XYZ. All right, picture perfect break and retest off of our inverse head and shoulders neckline here, which is this trend line. You can also see on the weekly chart, guys, this is like 2 to 3 years of consolidation. It's just now breaking out of. Okay, that's 910 days, guys. That's like 2.7 years right there. You're just now breaking out of it and you're retesting it. And over the last 2 to 3 months here, we have literally been putting in a base above a massive base breakout. Okay, this is a break and retest off of a 2 to 3 year base that was also a massive inverse head and shoulders pattern. We could just draw it like this. Okay, this is clear as day. Another inverse head and shoulders pattern. You just broke out from that. The move for this one didn't even start yet. Okay, $29 move. Take it from right here. $29 moves takes you up to 120.70. I do think that is possible on this next move. I'm going to be putting this on my radar, and I'm potentially going to be taking a position on this week. I personally like this. I like March, and I like April calls over here. But very clean move, or very clean setup over here. Probably getting ready for a clean move. Above 93.19 brings 99.26. Netflix is the next one I'm going to put on your radar right here. Very clean, earnings gap up right here, and then you've been consolidating this little pennant. I do think it's getting ready for that next move up, and if you can break out of this pennant and above 999, 999, at that point, I think you probably, just hit it with a $20 to $50 move to the upside. I think this is just going to start grinding higher. You had a high right here after your last earnings gap up, consolidate for, 1 to 2 weeks, just like you got going right now. Okay, and from that high, let's just mark it out. You kept going pretty much straight up. You had one little pullback there, falling there, but you almost went straight up for a $140 move. You had a pullback after going $70 higher, and then you pulled back $30, and from that, next high, you then went up another $70. This thing is probably going to have a few waves to the upside here now, and I do think it's going to keep on pushing. All right, very clean chart. KO, I've kept it on your radar, and I'm going to reiterate this right now. This setup over here, you are, continuously find buyers over here on these pullbacks. You pull back over here after breaking out. You found buyers on this pullback. You found buyers on the next pullback once you got over the short-term moving averages. And you found buyers on the short-term moving averages here again today with that nice long lower wick. If you can start breaking above 64 bucks again, I do think this is going to start pushing up to 65 in the short term. I'm liking this. I am liking how this is looking. It's shaping up nicely. You break above here. You break above 64 bucks. Okay. That's when you're above the weekly 21. That's when things start, really cooking over here. Okay. There you go. Cost. I put it on your radar. It, one of the top watches coming into this week. Down here, I actually put it on your radar right here, right on these 2 days right here on this pullback into the double bottom neckline. I said the target for this move was going to be 976.30. We've now gotten above there. All right. We pulled back. We pointed out coming into this week, this pullback was going to be a buying opportunity. I don't know exactly where it would get bought up from, but if it pulled back to 956.55, the most recent breakout level, or the short-term moving average, we were looking for buyers step in for a move up to new highs, 1,007.80. And as you can see, we are now up at new highs. And if you could just look at this weekly chart, does that look like something that's just going to cool off now? No, it does not. It looks like it's going to keep cooking. We probably are going to be seeing 1,050 plus. Oklo, this is one that, I put on your radar. When it broke out, I put it on your radar all the way back down here. So let's just keep that in mind. Get that straight. We put it on when it was like 11 freaking bucks over here, 10, 11 bucks. And we called for that next move up. We were looking for that move to highs. All right. We ended up getting that. We then consolidated for months. I put it on your radar right here. All right. Broke out. I put it in your radar over here, thinking it would get up to new highs. You got up to new highs. And then I put it on your radar on this pullback. And there's that. Okay. Did I play all these things? No. All right. Honestly, I only played it over here. And that is that. But as we could see, all right, or maybe I played it over here. I'm really unsure. All right. I don't like, just a little thing about me, I feel, more uncomfortable in the stocks that don't move with the market than I do with the ones that move with the market. Why? Because I'm always watching the market. I have this like market sense. All right. The market pulse. I feel it. Okay. When things don't move with the market, I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Even if market's going down, and my stock's going up, I'm uncomfortable sitting in those positions. I'm like, oh my God. Not all the time, of course, but like I genuinely much rather trade the ones that move with the market. I know how to play those things. Whereas these guys, they could be crazy. They could be pretty crazy over here and just grind. All right. They don't behave like normal stocks. As you see, this thing wants to get, going higher. I think $50 is incoming. Hims over here. Picture perfect break and retest off of 35.02 today, and you did end up seeing another 10% move today intraday. All right, I talked about it. Once we start getting up to highs, I thought we're gonna have some 10 to 20% days, some real impulsive moves coming. And guys, I do think HIMS is going 50 plus. Okay, pullback is still buying opportunity. If we get one, all right, this is your opportunity to take advantage for that move up to 45 to 50 bucks. I do think is coming. All right, last one I will put on your radar that I definitely already put on your radar down here, right here. And then I put it on the radar when it started breaking out from this. Pullbacks are buying opportunities over here in LLY. Get above 846.46, and you are going to start pushing up here to 900 plus. You got earnings right around the corner Thursday after the bell. I do think that could be the catalyst to really get this thing moving to the upside. All right. Well, last one, bonus one, Uber. I'm just going to point out every single freaking dip over here just keeps getting bought. We had definitely the dip getting bought over here with this nasty dip. Over here, you had this nasty gap down over here. I think it was 5 or 6%. You have 5% gap down. That got bought up. You closed only down minus 0.24%. All right. And this morning's Black Monday here also got bought up. So I'm just going to point out dips continuously get bought up over here on Uber. Chances are this thing is getting ready for a move, you know, a snapback to the upside. In my personal opinion, you're definitely consolidating right around here. If you can get over 68.84, guys, get that. Give me that daily close. You keep getting the rejection right from that freaking level. Get that daily close above 68.84. The thing's gonna move to 73.55, and that is a move that you could participate in. All right. With that being said, ladies and gents, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Just to reiterate something, NVIDIA, cleanest chart on the market right now. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's absolutely sexy. It's picture perfect. You come over here, the 4-hour time frame, and not extended hours. We're talking regular trading hours here, RTH. You have the 4-hour bullish divergence stemming right here from the golden pocket, from the demand zone, from the break and retest off that trend line. Like, it's picture perfect. And then here on the daily time frame, you do have the RSI sitting right there, the 36.85 red line right here we have on the daily RSI. That has brought a bounce the last 11 times over the last 2 years, 10 plus percent. I do think that is not going to be different this time. We're probably going to wind back up at 127.67 to 130, 126 in the short term. This is my, my top watch right now. This is my trade of the week that I'm really banking on. All right. I do think this is going to be, either consolidating right here and then moving up into end of the week, or I think it's just going to start pushing from here. All right. That being said, I'll catch you on the next one. I'll just flash this real quick, guys. Doesn't look bad at all there. All right, ES doesn't look bad at all there. Look at this picture perfect. Break and retest off of the, falling wedge over here. Golden pocket test right there. You come over here. I think we could see it on the weekly right here. On the weekly 21, you come over here to NQ. Where are we finding buyers off of? Again, guys, this is the weekly 21 EMA. Also, you're sitting here in the break and retest zone. Like, people are forgetting the big picture. The big picture is this thing's going a lot higher, guys. It's going to happen. Okay. It's going to happen. DA over here, we're sitting on, the YM, the Dow over here, Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's solidly above the short-term moving average. It's not something, we don't typically get this look before you fall off a cliff. All right. It's something where you pull back to these short-term moving averages after you reclaim them, and you're probably going to continue higher. If we weren't going to continue higher, we probably wouldn't have reclaimed the short-term moving averages. This is on the weekly time frame, okay? This took weeks to reclaim, and now that we have, we're probably going to be pushing new highs. Correction over. Catch you all in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really do. And peace.